Hello and welcome back to Next Week Last Night. My name's Stuart Johnson. Thank you for joining me. Now, if you remember in the last episode, we spoke about Switzerland's ban on the burqa and niqab in public spaces. And if you remember that, you might also recall that I got a little bit upset when covering that story, which is why I would now like to take the time to apologize for absolutely none of it. But what I do want to do is delve a little deeper into just why that story upset me so much. And the reason why, the reason it pissed me off as much as it did, is because it speaks to a larger issue, in my opinion. We in the West, we like to view ourselves as a high moral authority on all things imaginable. We turn our noses up at these backwards third world nations and their ignorant ways. Yet when push comes to shove, we're really no better than they are. I mean, think about it. When Poland and Hungary don't have a law like this, but you do, it's time to start questioning your life choices for a second. It really is. You know what we are? Come to think of it, you know what we are? We're a turd with gold plating on it. Shiny on the surface, but as soon as you dig just a little bit deeper, it's the same shit you find everywhere else. And that's what pisses me off. It's funny because I actually did some research on the topic, and it turns out only 0.1% of Swiss women wear a niqab, and yes, fucking 0% wear a burqa. So why even bother passing this law? It's a huge threat to us all that really only applies to a small number of people, but puts us all in grave danger, but has been totally blown out of proportion by left-wing media. And it's that disparity that really gets to me. It's that disparity, that how our moral judgment and our moral authority is only exercised on a selective basis. Anyway, continuing last episode's coverage. By the time you're watching this, President Biden should have signed his COVID-19 relief bill, aptly titled the American Rescue Plan, into law. That is unless, of course, Joe Manchin changed his mind at the last second and voted against Joe Biden being president. Now, the reason why I wanted to refer to the bill by its full name, which is not known by most people, so it seems, the American Rescue Plan, is because I really feel like calling it just a COVID bill is selling it short. I mean, this is the most progressive piece of legislation an American president has signed into law since the Lyndon B. Johnson era. And I know we like to joke about settling for Biden, but I've said since day one, Joe Biden is not a moderate. Like, not by a long stretch. He is the most progressive, nay, the first progressive president America has had in like 50 or 60 years. And his first major act since taking office is going to be to sign a bill that, according to economists, is going to reduce the number of Americans living in poverty by a third and reduce child poverty by 50%. He's going to cut child poverty in half with one bill. Those are not the actions of a moderate. I can tell you that right now. So next time you sit there and you complain about, oh, I wish we had a real progressive in office like Bernie Sanders. Nothing against Bernie. It's contrary to what the last episode might make you think. But just keep that in mind. American Rescue Plan, 50% reduction in child poverty, lifting 1/3 of Americans out of poverty. Those are not the actions of a moderate. So keep that in mind, because we all know memory is a fickle thing in the world of politics. Speaking of Joe Biden, wasn't all good for him this week. He faced his first major scandal since coming into office. Gee, I don't. There's really no easy way to say this. Okay, here goes. Joe Biden's dog attacked a Secret Service member. Now, let me just say to the dog in question, I feel ya. But this is exactly what happens when you allow pets to roam around unsupervised. This is exactly what happens, which is why President Trump always kept his pet raccoon safely on top of his head. Anyway, here is the footage of the disturbing incident. Roll 212. All right. On the GOP side of things, Senator Roy Blunt of Missouri has shocked his party by announcing that he will not be running for re-election in 2022 in the latest edition of I don't want to lose a primary to a crazy Trump supporter 2021 Bonanza. And that's about it. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a slow news week. So how about before we start to wrap things up, we hear from our sponsor for this episode. I started cooking when I was 16. It was a big passion of mine. Remember the first time a girl blew me for a hit? It was this girl, Lindsay Crawford from 905. Best 15 seconds of my life. I remember like it was 15 minutes ago. But then again, it's only because the drugs have given me short-term memory loss. In this masterclass, I'm gonna teach you how to cook. I'm gonna teach you how to distribute. I'm gonna teach you how to pick the right product. And I'm gonna teach you how to build connections. You wanna pick a dark place like this to hide your stash. So when the cops come here, they're too scared to look. You know, cooking is in art form. People these days seem to think that any high school chemistry teacher with lung cancer can cook cocaine. Now this here is good product. You wanna buy Colombian, you don't wanna buy Mexican, those guys will rip you off. My name's Jeff. Oh wait, there you are. My name's Jeff, and this is my master class. Alright, thank you for joining me. That's our show for today. Thank you to Masterclass for sponsoring this video. Listen, before we go, I just wanted to say one more quick thing. Can I get real with you guys for a second? I'm gonna get real with you guys for a second. Hold on. Let me put my notes away so I can get real with you all. All right, are we real now? We're real. So this past week, Tuesday to be exact, my family's dog, our family dog, passed away. It was nothing happened. He was old. He was 14, which is ancient in dog years, and he died peacefully and went to sleep. Didn't wake up. It happens. He did not. He lived with my aunt, so he did not live with me. But I was attached to that dog nonetheless. So, in honor of our dog, I decided it would be appropriate if this episode was actually brought to you by just a whole bunch of animal and pet and dog related charities. So I've put like 3 or 4 of them in the description box below. Please consider clicking the link to any one of them. They're all great organizations and worthy causes to support for sure. If you have pets, please take good care of them. If you're considering getting a pet, please be aware that it's a huge responsibility, and please be aware that unless you're getting a sea turtle, you're probably going to have to deal with what I'm dealing with right now at some point. So yeah, once again, please, if for nothing else, as a personal favor to me, consider clicking the link in the description box below to support one of these organizations. And I'd like to say, rest in peace, Charlie. You will be missed. Anyway, that's our show. Thank you once again for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends about this place. We have new content coming out every single week. I've been your host, Stuart Johnson, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.